OG WoW. All right, let's look over here. I'm going to read the comments made by Mark Kern, okay? A lot of people have wanted me to look at this, and I've been kind of slow about it, but we're going to get into it. So Mark Kern is talking about the Blizzard leak, about State of WoW. So let's see here. I'll read this real quick, but I think it's probably bullshit. Lastly, the biggest elephant in the room. I'm just going to read it because it's funny. The biggest elephant in the room is yo boy Asmongold. The newer hires cannot stand him. They've used terms like toxic masculinities and dog whistles to dangerous males, while some of the oldest crowds still remaining have called him based or telling it like, bro, this is not, like, this is no way. Exactly, engaging some malicious act of cyber warfare. The idea that an outside element has such an effect on our product is genuinely upsets people. How did we get here? A couple of things that happened in AAA game dev that led up to this point. The biggest thing is money. Once AAA gaming got bigger than all media, you start to attract a lot of executives who are in for the immense profit versus the love of making games. The change starts at the top and is made worse by game companies going public. This starts with a flow down to middle management who are starting to make serious cash. The why of a company changes. Instead of going for games that they would love to play and identifying as gamers themselves, there is now a sense of the other. We made the games, they paid for them. OG Blizzard culture used to be we are gamers, right down to the receptionist, and we make a game for ourselves because we are gamers. That's gone now. And devs at many AAA studios are distinctly us versus them, the whiny, entitled gamers, as an example. This was not helped by the increase in personal attacks on devs by gamers themselves. Gamers are passionate, but unfortunately this sometimes leads them to move beyond criticizing the game to personal attacks and some really unsavory and threatening behaviors. True and real. It's very unfortunate that happens, and I try to call it out whenever I see it. Let's get back to the money. Once games were obvious moneymakers and everyone started to play them, and it became a cool rep, you started to attract a different type of developer. The first wave did it for free, made very little money, very little success, just to make the dreams happen. But once games were viewed as a stable myth and more glamour career choice with good pay, you started to attract the types of professional who were very good at their job, but definitely what I call the 9-to-5ers. They treat it not as a passion, but as a routine job. Again, this wasn't helped by upper management, who is now flooded with MBA and marketing types, who treat devs poorly and binge hire and fire them from project to project, treating them like tools. Unfortunately, this is not something that's unique to gaming. Yeah, it is not unique to gaming at all. This is just in general what it is. It's hard to have a passion when both management and angry gamers don't have your back. True. Then when Zynga blew up on Facebook and metrics were becoming important along with predatory monetization, when mobile exploded and everything became free but with pay to win, the sheer scale of gaming profits leapt in order of magnitude 1 to 2 or forwards. Billions and not millions. Suddenly making games for game's sake was not the goal. Now games are needed to collect metrics, retain users, and the way success was judged was about how much money per user you could make, not about having a great game. The focus moved from gameplay to monetization metrics. I think that's true. It's like nowadays, basically, whenever you're buying a new video game, if you're talking about monetization, the way that you decide what monetization you want is you pick what dildo you want to get fucked in the ass with, right? Do you want to get fucked in the ass with microtransactions? Do you want it to be free to play but with pay to win? Do you want it to have a pre-order thing that gives you extra stats? Like, there's always something bad about a game. Like, there's DLC or day one DLC, etc. There's always something like that in these games, and it's so sad to see, but I don't really see it changing, if you want me to be honest with you. I really don't. It just happens so often. When you design for monetization metrics, you get a very different type of game than if you design for gameplay. These two are often at odds, and you find yourself deliberately making your game worse so it can sell better convenience items and power items. That's true, and that's the way that they're designed. The game is designed to blue ball you into buying power bonuses. It is designed into blue balling you into buying something that you need to buy. That's what it is, man. Abso-fucking-lutely. Steve Jobs was right. When you let this type of lie drive your company and you make monetization the only goal, you kill your innovation in the company and drive out the innovators and makers. That's true. While Jobs is talking about sales and marketing staff versus product makers, it's games, it's worse. In games, designers are now the sales staff. The gamification of monetization makes and breaks the AAA game. So now, even if your product people are contaminated with this mentality, that's true. Yeah, they have to, because they have to design it directly into the game. The devs do it for passion, who are tired of being blamed by gamers for corporate decisions above them, and who do it out of genuine passion. They will leave and go indie. What remains are those doing it as a job, one they often hate, and they are not innovators. The arrogance is also real. Steve talks about how whenever you get surprised because you have a monopoly on the market, WoW had a monopoly on MMOs, and they are no longer gamers, but game salespeople. So, of course, they are prone to disruption. In this case, it wasn't Square and Final Fantasy by itself. That just happened to be the game that was competing on gameplay instead of monetization. They were not the monopoly. It's also an old enough game that the old values of gameplay were more important. When sparked by an exodus from WoW, started with a player base that was tired of being treated as customers and often treated in a monopoly, taken for granted, poor service in terms of content, not listened to, milked for cash and fees. Then came the streamers. Streamers are the world's biggest force in game marketing. They can make a success overnight with zero traditional marketing, with Apex Legends. That's a good point. That's a huge point. Yeah, that happened. That 100% fucking happened. Or they can absolutely tear your game down. That's true too. Yeah, having streamers play the game and having it be a bad game does really, really hurt the game. It absolutely does. Yeah, Among Us is another one. Among Us is a huge one. He said no marketing. No, we didn't say no marketing. He said no traditional marketing. Listen to what he's saying. Listen here. Many of the AAA and game marketing never understood this, and many still don't get it today. When streamers were just getting started, I was told by EA and my AAA staff marketing teams what a waste of a time it was to do YouTube and Twitch, even though it cost a fraction of the ad spend. Of course they were wrong, and now curry favor to spend money on Twitch and YouTube, but they don't really understand it. They spend it's so true that they don't understand it, because they have streamers tweet out these going live tweets for these games. Like, I've had to do this too whenever we've done a sponsored stream, and you have to use some bullshit hashtag that nobody cares about. Like, I'm sorry, but your focus group marketing team made out of people that have 4 followers on Twitter don't understand how it works. That's why they have 4 followers on Twitter, and they're showing up to this job 5 days a week for $60,000 a year instead of actually going out and doing their own fucking marketing. It's because they don't know what they're doing. They're stupid. That's what it comes down to. And no, I'm not wrong. Like, I'm not fucking wrong. It's so pathetic, man. It's so fucking pathetic. They spend money on it, but they don't actually watch the streams to understand whenever things are going wrong, or they don't believe that it will affect them. So when Asmongold, this is me, started dipping his toes into alternatives to WoW, interviewing Final Fantasy content creators, and then finally playing it himself on stream, Blizzard was unaware or unbelieving of what was happening. They were the monopoly. Even Asmongold was taken in shock by the sheer number of viewers his Final Fantasy stream attracted. That's true. Even he underestimated the number of dissatisfied and curious alternative for WoW gamers. Well, what happens in streaming? Whenever one content creator hits a gold vein of views, others quickly hop on. That's very true too. Remember whenever Ludwig did the subathon and then everybody else did a subathon? That's what people do, man. I considered doing it. I decided not to, but there's plenty of other people that did consider doing it. Absolutely. Suddenly you have many WoW streamers talking about Final Fantasy and starting to stream it. What's a WoW gamer to think? The rest is history. The king is dethroned, an expression of shock on his face. Sometimes you don't need the best product, you just need to be good enough to take advantage of the company that's rested too long on their brand and monopoly to actually change, innovate, and improve. This won't change while gamers are leaving for good, but if a monopoly can wake up, pull an expansion out of a turnaround as drastic as Square itself did with The Realm Reborn, it can flip it around again. That's true. The problem is Blizzard, you chased all your innovators away. Oh well. I'm actually curious about this. I'm gonna look at Google Trends. So you've got World of Warcraft, and read his last tweet. Sure, let me read the last tweet. A tip for Final Fantasy XIV. Follow this and you'll get 10 times your sales and user base. Take it from the WoW guy. Fix your account website. It takes 6 devs to do an emergency rewrite. Thank me later. It took me 3 hours to buy your game and figure out account issues. I'm not alone. That's gonna get me that's gonna get a fucking like from me. That's true. That is so goddamn fucking true. Let's see here. World of Warcraft, and this is the game, and Final Fantasy. Wow. What day did I start streaming the game? Yeah, what day did I start streaming the game? July 3rd. So that ended on Wow. Dude, that's nuts. Holy shit. That's crazy. What the fuck? I don't even know what to say. That's insane. Wow. I mean, I think that's one thing I can say right there.